Leroy SANE, what are you playing at, brother? What is he like? You had the deal done, and now you've changed your mind. Oh, and it's caused pandemonium. You've upset Max Ibril. You don't want to do that. And you upset Uli Hoeneß. Oh, let's just jump into the story then. So, this is Leroy SANE, if any of you don't know. This is Leroy SANE. Currently at Bayern Munich. He's 29 years old. He previously played for Schalke, Manchester City in the Premier League before moving on to Bayern Munich. Now, context here, Leroy Sané's contract at Bayern Munich is coming to an end this summer. Well, technically this season's only got 2 more games left. Plus we're going to the Club World Cup, which I suppose makes things a bit murky. But anyway, his deal runs out, I assume, end of May, start of June. So, and this has been weighing on his mind and the club's mind for quite a while. So, we pick up the story from back in April. Trusted source, Mir Samir on Twitter, relied upon on a daily basis by Liam and Co. from the Bayern View. So this is April 24th, just after Easter. Bayern and Leroy Sané have reached an agreement over a new contract. This deal is expected to be finalised next week. It's a 3-year deal, which will go on till 2028. Now, he's currently one of the highest earners. His contract currently is €20 million per year, right? Bearing in mind, just slight side note, Munich are trying to bring in Florian Wirtz. 1 in, 1 out. You got to. It's all about the money. You got to balance those books, right? So a good start would be to offload someone like Leroy Sané, but he wants to stay. And actually, Vincent Kompany last summer wanted him to stay as well. So again, they've reached this agreement where his reduced salary will be €10 million, we assume, per year, plus $5 million in bonuses, performance-related pay. We're all familiar with that, right, in the workplace. So, $15 million, potentially, over 3 years, all good. And then everything changes when Pini ZAHAVI enters the frame. Pini ZAHAVI, by the way, looks like a Bond villain, doesn't he? We think so anyway. That's only because we've been playing GoldenEye. Remember that game, GoldenEye? Yeah, we're playing that. Those local multiplayer maps. Oh, mwah, chef's kiss. Anyway, this is Pini ZAHAVI. He's still working in his 80s, by the way. He has a football agency called Goal International. He's the son of an Israeli shopkeeper who moved into football journalism, started slowly building an empire, very clever, and he's been asking questions, offering solutions, and pocketing the commission. Exactly what I did for 20 years in the video game development industry. You build a network, you become friendly, you ask questions, you offer solutions, and you pocket that sweet, sweet cash, right? He's been operating for 40 years, and these are some of his clients. Yeah, well, again, just for my English viewers or people familiar with the Premier League, ZAHAVI, he was behind this move of Rio Ferdinand once upon a time from West Ham to Leeds of the Midlands. 30 million move, look. Imagine the commission he ain't on that. And he became friends with Sir Alex Ferguson on the back of it and helped move on Jaap Stam. Remember him? Bit of a Nicolas Soulé. Well, not quite a double fridge. Less freezer compartments. Let's agree on that one. Anyway, he moved Jaap Stam to Lazio and brought in Sebastian Veron in a switcheroo deal. So this guy is a serious operator. And now some of his clients, by the way, have played in the Bundesliga. So he knows the league intimately. He knows the players. Look, so Pini ZAHAVI, Bond villain, has his clients, includes Christopher Nkunku. So that was a deal, where he moved him on from Leipzig to Chelsea. Jonathan Tah is the client, currently at Leverkusen, but his contract expires this summer. Now, we did a video on that. Where's Jonathan Tah going to go Tatar to? You can check that out in the description down below. And Robert Lewandowski, ultimate Polish bagsman, so we're assuming that he was involved in his transfer from Munich to Barcelona for some serious cash, right? So again, the assumption is, from reading around various news sites, that ZAHAVI, like us, is sat there and gone, whoa, stop the bus, son, Sané. I can get you a better deal. So he stepped in, and this is why we end up in this mess. So we pick up here with BavarianFootballWorks.com. Bayern Munich won't improve on that previous offer, and they've been given a 10-day. They've given Sané a 10-day ultimatum. Take it or leave it, son. And again, Bayern will not offer Leroy SANE a signing fee. This is what it all comes down to. So the Bond villain's gone, I'll get you a signing fee here. I'll get you a better deal because you deserve it. And by the way, this is his figures this year. And yes, I know if you go and listen to Stefan and Manny from the Gegenpressing pod, you look on Ask Jeeves, you ask your friend at the bus stop, you will know that Leroy SANE has had his fair share of injuries in life. However, the numbers he's hitting this season are pretty much on par with what he was doing in the last season at Manchester City. This season, look, 11 goals, 4 assists. So 15 goal involvements in the Bundesliga alone, plus a couple of goals in the Champions League and DFB Pokal. So what's that? That's 17 goal involvements this season. That's pretty damn good for a guy that's come off the bench 11 times, right? So it's all breaking down this contract because the Bond villain's come in and gone, I can get you a better deal. I can get you a signing on fee, right? And old Max Eberl, glasses, shiny pants, exec at Bayern Munich, and Uli Hoeneß are saying, we're not having that one. Right, so it's all kind of hit this horrible stalemate. Yeah, look, Bayern bosses have already decided on an ultimatum for Leroy SANE. You either sign what we've offered you, you take it, or you fuck off, basically. He's been given 10 days. Now, Arsenal are reported to be one of those clubs that are interested in Leroy SANE. Now, this was last summer, look, if you can see this. Last summer, look, nearly my birthday. Arsenal show interest in Leroy SANE as Nico Williams' plan B. Now, take it with a grain of salt because Arsenal has, Gonzo here tells me, they're interested in everybody. You know, Gokares, Benjamin Tesco, just everybody, right? Now, this was last summer, and there was some credence actually to it. The offer last year apparently was 47.6, very precise, million euro to snap up the winger. And who did they end up with? Raheem Sterling. Great business. Well done. Well done, Kroenkes. Well done, Arteta. So that was last summer, right? And then we pick it up again in March, again, because all this transfer story is starting to bubble up. Leroy SANE to Arsenal, contract offer ready for Mikel Arteta reunion. Now, again, that's an interesting point because in a previous life, when SANE was at Manchester City, Mikel Arteta was the wingman to Pep Guardiola. So they know each other. They've worked with each other on a daily basis. They know their foibles and their fortitude. And apparently Arsenal are ready to pounce. Gunners boss Mikel Arteta has never made it a secret that he still has an excellent relationship with SANE from his Manchester City days. The Spaniard has also shown a willingness to sign experienced players if they are available on favoured deals. Favoured deals. Words that might come back to bite you in the ass. Raheem Sterling. There you go, right? And then again on 90minutes.com. This is recent as this week. So this is days before or after Arsenal get dumped out of the Champions League in the semi-final by Farmers League champions PSG. Arsenal given transfer hope after winger surprise contract U-turn. Again, because of this, I want a signing fee. The Bond villain reckons he can get you it, but we'll give you 10 days to take it or leave it. So, former Manchester City wingers out of contract this summer would be available on a free, as we've said. Arsenal among the clubs to have expressed interest on the basis that he could sign a reduced... Well, actually, this is the reduced contract that he's been signed with. Where's the meat of this story? Here. The Gunners are seeking attractive reinforcements in wide areas, and SANE would be someone capable of sharing minutes with our boy Saka. Again, it just posed the question, though, and this comes up a lot on YouTube comments, our comments, other people's videos comments. Would you really go and warm the bench, even if the money was that good? I mean, even David May must have got fed up in the end. Sorry, David May, if you're watching. And just to confirm it, look, back in 2020, since Leroy SANE joined Bayern for Man City, he's made 218 appearances in total, and he's won 4 Meisterschales, 4 Bundesliga titles. So, yeah, there you go. Arsenal need reinforcements. Well, Arsenal need players, right? Because that bench against PSG was piss poor, right? And again, this was the day after. This is TalkSport, so you can really dismiss this one. Arsenal have been heavily linked with the summer move for Leroy SANE as he enters the final weeks of his contract. The winger signed for Munich from Manchester City for 54.8 million euros. He's won 4 titles, like we say. He's hit 115 goal contributions in his 218 appearances. He's represented by the Bond villain, Pini ZAHAVI. And there we go, we get into it now. Dominic Vassell and co. Here's the comments. It's really interesting because it's been widely assumed for a while. Munich has spent a fortune increasing or adding contract extensions to existing superstars like Musiala, Fonzie Davis, Joshua Kimmich. These aren't cheap deals, and that's one of the reasons they assume, and we assume, that Thomas Muller's been moving on, because it does all come down to the money and balance in the books. Will he come back to the Premier League? That's an interesting question, right? It's an interesting question. And again, the TalkSport are trying to connect the dots, going, well, if Sané leaves, then that would leave a hole that would be perfect for some like Florian Wirtz to fill and come in. It is all about the money. Yeah, so Leroy SANE to Arsenal, big question mark there. And then Stefan, who's one half of the Gegenpressing pod, on transfermarket.com or .co.uk. Arsenal have asked Bayern Munich about the availability of French winger Kingsley Coman. So Arsenal are looking to raid the vault of superstars from Bayern Munich. We pick up again on Twitter. This is Max Abel without his glasses in the recent pre-match press conference. We've got a very good relationship with his old and new management. It was surprising for us. We'll see what happens. We thought it was so close. That's the deal they're referring to, which was this 10 million a year fix plus 5 million bonuses. We thought it was so close, but we'll see. We'll have to speak to each other. Our wish is to extend Leroy's contract. We've communicated that to him, but we've got our limits, which again, we've got to balance the books. If those limits are exceeded, then it will be very difficult. Let's see what happens. Max Herbel there with perfect line. He's been extremely well media trained. And then this was May the 9th. So this is early on today. This is Max Herbel confirms that FC Bayern still want to extend Leroy Sané's contract until 28, but not at any price. Our wish is still to extend with Leroy, but we've also agreed on a framework. So we're adding more layers to the double speak. George Orwell, 1984 quote there. Yeah, here's the double speak. If that framework were to be exceeded, it will become difficult. It's now up to Leroy. If Sané demands too much, a departure is possible. And here's one of the other clubs, right? This is where it starts to get a bit mad. So Newcastle, why, hey man, the Toon. Apparently, the Toon have inquired about Leroy Sané. Wow. But Leroy Sané wants to play in the Champions League. That's currently up in the air. As it stands, by virtue of winning the League Cup in England, or the Carabao Cup, which is a D-list energy drink, by virtue of winning that League Cup, beating Liverpool 2-0 in the final, they are qualified for the Europa League. And as it stands in the Premier League table, Newcastle are in 6th, and they would need to keep winning and be reliant upon other results to actually finish in the Champions League for real, which would mean that would probably rule him out of going to Newcastle. And then Galatasaray are interested in securing Leroy Sané should he become a free agent this summer. That's fascinating because only a few days ago, Galatasaray had approached Max Herbel about Sasha Bowie, who they sold to Bayern Munich a couple of years ago for €30 million. And the proposal was, if you want to offload Sasha, we'll send him back here on loan, and then we'll make you an offer with a view to buy him permanently. So we've got to watch this space. So what we're trying to say, Galatasaray going after some big players there. This is the confirmation. Again, look, it's been reported that Galatasaray want to sign him. A decision will be made following Bayern's final league match against Hoffenheim on May the 17th. And we'll be covering that right here on the German Football Spotlight channel. Yeah, okay. And then just for a bit of a giggle, good old Tottenham, good old Spurs. Apparently, and if you pay attention to how this reads, Leroy Sané has been offered to Tottenham on a potential transfer, so they are trying to get rid of him. Tottenham, by the way, qualify for the Europa League final. They're playing Manchester United in a couple of weeks, which is fascinating. So yeah, we come back to how much impact will the Bond villain get in securing Leroy SANE an extension with Max Eberl and co at Bayern Munich. What I'm trying to say is, and it's a question for you in the comments down below, how likely are we to see Leroy SANE at Munich come next season? Will we be sat here in a year's time commenting on Leroy SANE and his performances in a Bayern Munich jersey, or will he have gone elsewhere? Will he have gone to Arsenal, Gonzo? Will he have gone to the Toon? Why, Iron Man? Will he have gone to Tottenham, or will he be playing with the Turks at Galatasaray? Where do you think he's going to end up? Let us know in the comment section down below. And as always, here comes the plea. Please think about, well, A, liking, B, subscribing, and then C, telling your friends. Again, I'm doing this as a full-time commitment. I'm committed to you. So please, if you could do me a favour, just do one of the three, two of the three, 2 out of 3. Ain't bad. That's a crusty, rusty Meatloaf impression. Anyway, you know what I'm after. Love you lots. Me, Sam, me. We'll catch you soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao for now.